want to spell it first, I guess.
I'm Tom Roach, R-O-A-C-H.
Okay, I guess what would your title be out here today?
I don't have any title. I'm just here to support Paul Jacobs and Susan Johnson and Greg Carpenter. They're being prosecuted by the Attorney General, who went and got an indictment saying that they had organized and run the Taxpayer Bill of Rights, or TABOR, petition signature drive in an unlawful way. And it's an embarrassment to Oklahoma, and this is an infringement upon the federal constitutional rights under the First Amendment to right of petition and the right of free speech. And the Attorney General knows this, and he knows that he has no facts to support a jury verdict. If a jury verdict could be gotten, which is extremely doubtful. The hearing today is simply a preliminary hearing, and that all the judge has to be able to find is that there's some evidence to support the notion that a crime was committed and that the defendants committed it. That's a stretch by itself, but the judge ought to be able to see, they seldom do, but he ought to be able to see, even in the preliminary hearing, that there's simply nothing that's going to support a jury verdict. In fact, not only are there no facts to support a jury verdict, there soon will be no law, because the issue is whether you can hire out-of-state signature gatherers for an initiative petition in Oklahoma. And there's a statute that says that you can, but similar statutes have already been voided in 2 federal circuits, the 9th and the 6th. And so far as I know, the opinion is unanimous that such statutes are unconstitutional. So we expect that the 10th Circuit, which now has a case on that issue, to decide within the year that the Oklahoma statute is unconstitutional. And if it doesn't, that will create a conflict among the circuits, which will take the case very quickly to the United States Supreme Court. Oklahoma has almost no chance of winning that against these defendants. So you have to look at why the case is actually being brought. The reason for the case is that Drew Edmondson is doing a political favor for the teachers' unions. And that's it. This case is absolutely nothing but a political prosecution by a politicized Attorney General who is using his position to do a political favor. That's all this is.
Okay. Why do you personally feel it's important that you come out here?
Well, I thought that government needs limits. That's why the Taxpayer Bill of Rights was being circulated in the first place. And if you looked at the editorial in the Oklahoman on Saturday morning, you saw that in the last decade there have been 23 initiative petitions. Only 2 have actually made it to the ballot. And the main reason for that is that specious, thin reasons that used as the petition by the Oklahoma Supreme Court. And basically, it's an insider versus outsiders. The Oklahoman recognized that on Saturday, although they have not always recognized that in the past, because there is a big petition that has already gotten its signatures, and it's backed by an enormous amount of money. It can be expected to withstand legal challenges in the Oklahoma Supreme Court, simply because they have plenty of money. And that's a petition done by the teachers' unions and by the school boards. And what they're trying to do is to take away from the state legislature of Oklahoma the power to make funding decisions. No, seriously, that case, it seems to me, basically takes a fundamentally legislative function away from the legislature. The Constitution says, the Constitution of Oklahoma says the legislative functions that are not expressly reserved for people are given to the legislature. And it would seem to me that might be challengeable in the federal courts on the basis of denial of a Republican form of government, which the federal Constitution guarantees to the states. to understand this case, you really need to understand that the only purpose that Drew Edmondson, if he's honest with himself, is to make these defendants spend money. Now, Paul Jacobs told me last night that he has already spent $70,000, and they're only to the preliminary hearing. That doesn't include all the pretrial motions. That doesn't include the trial. That doesn't include any post-trial motions or appeal or request, for post-conviction relief or any of those things. The purpose of this is to make people who want to put limitations on government to pay for it. We are doing the work of democracy here. We are helping to preserve the Republican form of government in Oklahoma, and the powers that be, for lack of a better word, are trying to shut that down. And that is simply what this is about. The right of petition actually is 350 years old. It predates not only the United States Constitution, it predates the English Constitution and the English Bill of Rights. And the English Bill of Rights actually was written based on work by a man named Lilburn in England in the mid-1600s. And so these rights have a very, very long history, and it is really too bad that we have a power structure in Oklahoma which wants to shut those rights down. Oklahoma needs some reform. It needs very serious reform, and obviously, the reform that the teachers union wants is to deny people more of their rights to democracy, elements of democracy within a Republican form of government.
Well, probably more than enough, so I appreciate it.